I'm GamakaShri, and my teacher is JayaShri Maathaa. So JayaShri Maathaa is also in the call now. Intention is to introduce you to advanced energy clearances. Please let me know, probably via direct chat, whether you would want us to say some of these things in Sinhala as well, whether you prefer me speaking in Sinhala as well. සිංහලෙන් කතා කරන්න ඕනේද කියලාත් අපිට දැනුම් දෙන්න. අපි දැන් 6 දෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්න හින්දා දැන් පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන්.
Hi everyone, JayaShri. Good morning, good day from wherever you are joining us. Kindly welcoming you to this special training on advanced energy clearances and activations. I believe you can see and hear me clearly. So we will use Sinhala and English simultaneously. So let's get a couple of long deep breaths. Long deep breaths. I want you to breathe into your navel center. Nabia. Udara Pradesh, Nabiyata focus karanna. That husma ganna udarayata. So take some long deep breaths into your navel center. Few more long deep breaths. Deep breaths. And now you can open your mouth and breathe out for a longer time. Your exhalation is longer. Husma ganna Nabia Pradeshayata. දීර්ඝ හුස්ම ගන්න බැලුමක හුලං යවනවා වගේ හොඳට කන්ට්‍රෝල් කරලා හිමින් කට ඇරලා හුස්ම පිට කරන්න. කකුල් දෙක හොඳට පොළවේ තියන්න. Keep both your feet fully on the ground. Spine straight, shoulders relaxed. Relax your facial muscles. So everyone who's present here in this moment are ready to evolve into their next version of the divine self. Divine self. That means ready to break repeating cyclical patterns of human conditioning. Human conditioning, human nature. Everyone present here, ready to embrace the next version. To bring in that higher level of awareness into the physical form. Everyone here is ready. So I like to pronounce everyone present here as earth angels, the real guardians of earth energy, earth grid. Now that you heard it from me, it's time you start embracing that thought. If and when you feel really comfortable about that thought. Without these earth angels, the integrity of the physical earth will not be in place. So before you came into this human form as so and so, through a particular ancestry, through a particular biological code, borrowed a biological DNA code, and you came into this physical existence. And you had a contract. You knew why you were coming. And what happens is halfway in the process, we forget it. We forget it. We get lost in the matrix, so to say. We get lost in the matrix. And deep inside, we still have that inner calling. We know who we are in the universe. We know our identity beyond this name and form. So everything in the human plane, this human earth, this world that we live in, it's a complicated, multi-dimensional energy grid. Multi-dimensional energy grid. This small brain, this little brain cannot comprehend it in a given time. You can't fully comprehend it. You can comprehend only a very small portion of the multidimensional, complicated nature. You can, in a given time, perceive only a very minute portion. Let's say less than 10%. So 90% is beyond your perceived reality. It's beyond what you can perceive in a given time. So first point is that just because you can't rationally understand, perceive, logically, give meaning, give some sense to something, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So we live in one so-called one world, one earth. But 100 billions of people, 10 billion of people, whatever the number of people, They have, let's say it's 90 billion people. You have 90 billion experiences of the same world. So what we call as the world is only an internal experience. Same family, same country, same DNA code, two different people are experiencing the same thing, same food, same sound, same visual impressions, same sensations, physical sensations, completely differently. Why? Why? That is because the nature in which this is wired, programmed, set up. So it is not the same world. It's many, many, many worlds. But we want to make sense out of this multi-dimensional, incomprehensible, can't find head or tail, can't find the beginning at the end and the end world. We want to make sense out of our life. For that, you need some models, frameworks, concepts, ideas. In simple terms, you need a word. වචනයක් අවශ්‍යයි. යමක් තේරුම් ගන්න. එතන වචනයක් නැත්තම් එතන මුකුත් නැහැ. පිරිසිදු අත්දැකීමක් විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. The mama, or I am, so and so. Set of words. But when you were born or when you were in mother's womb, you did not have those words. But does that mean you never had words before? Like when you were in mother's womb or when you were just born, you never had a word? You never had a way of interpreting something? Does that mean it? No. You still had a way of interpreting things, but you learned a particular language. Now that we are speaking in English, so it's English or Sinhala. So this is a question about you finding out who you really are. If you know only your name, your so-called nationality, any religious group you have identified with, gender, any other qualifications and social status like married, mother, social roles that you identified with. If you know only those, you're perishable. You have a death and you will continue to create another story. If you know only those things about yourself as who you are bound to get affected by everything that happens on this multidimensional energy grid, which we call Earth, the universe, this world. There's really no way you can escape it. So as long as you are, say, your name, Dilani Samaratunga, there's no way Dilani Samaratunga can escape from the story of Dilani Samaratunga. As long as she is aware only about the identity as Dilani Samaratunga, which is just set of like only two words, first name and the surname. The surname borrowed from the parents. And parents who never knew who they were, they borrowed their name from their parents. And their parents never knew who they were. They knew just as much as you do this physical body and the name attached to it and the story associated to that. So they created, because they knew the story, they created you. And you created them. Together you, or we co-created. There's only co-creation in this universe. There's no one-way creation. It's a co-creation. Like there's no JayaShri Maathaa without you guys being here in this session with me. There's really no JayaShri Maathaa. And without you, I'm not there. Without me, you're not there either. Now let's move on to the next level of understanding. Whatever you understand now, is it relevant? Because this is already being gone into your system and it will be understood 100% as your own self-realization when your time is right. So relax, breathe, smile, and just let go. Don't try to understand things logically. Just stop that. Breathe, relax. Stay here with me. So the next thing is like, fine, there's infinite amount of data, infinite, and 90% of it we can't even perceive, we can't even sort of process in a given time. We can process only 10% from this part of the brain. So whatever you say your life is only a representation of what has gone through from here and interpreted in some way. There's no other reality other than that. There's really no other reality other than what you have and how you have interpreted. And how you interpret was borrowed from your parents and through your genes and through socialization. Now in this training, what you are learning is another way of interpreting what's happening. But the difference is this. These thought processes, these ideas, this vision is going to help you break free from the perceived reality you have been creating all this while. It's going to help you be free from the collective human conditioning. It is going to help you be free from the physical reality. It is going to help you create a completely new reality, which we call in simple words as divine reality. In other words, it's free from suffering. It sets you free. Not only you, everyone before you in your genealogy, because they created you. They couldn't do it, so they made you. You are a creation of your previous generations, not just biologically. Every time you think about a certain story, about money, about the world, about the country, about your body, whatever, as a woman, as a man, it's your ancestors thinking through you. So they are eternally there as long as you exist. So every time when you get caught up with a particular problem, they suffer too. You're not alone. Similarly, when you set yourself free from something, they are going to get benefited. And only you can do that. Whatever was done to you, it's given. But you can undo things. That's what we are doing. We are helping mankind undo, enable, empower, enlighten. That is what I do. First, I'm going to remove the chains that is attached to you. Chains, mental blockages, the chains. What do we do in advanced energy clearances and activation? We are cutting those cords, or with your permission, with your understanding, after making you aware. We are helping you release those chains with your permission. And the chains that you can't even perceive in a given time or in a lifetime. You can't even perceive the amount of chains that is hooked onto you. As long as you have a physical body, it is a prison. But only until you realize who you really are beyond that body. So those are the souls, in other words, so the beings. They are the so-called human angels, earth angels. They are the ones who are actually protecting the integrity of this system called human earth. Why? When you're born, you think you were born to a particular family through a particular mother's womb, you came out. But work backwards and find out, where do all these mothers belong into? Like the womb of one mother, your mother. And if you have children, you have a womb and the babies came out. So it's a dark place. Womb is a dark place. It's full of fluid. It's unpleasant, but it creates something beautiful. It creates possibilities, but it's a dark place. It has nurturance, some kind of nurturance, but one always have to depend on someone in that womb. So look back and find out, think of all possible wombs of your ancestry, all possible. You don't know the number of wombs, right? Number of wombs? No, you don't know. It's infinite. So however, just conceptually try to understand it. Where are these wombs? Where do they first originate? Where do they belong first? How did all these mothers came into being? How do we survive, for that matter? Like, how do we survive? We survive on the food that coming from earth. So earth is our mother, first mother. All the physical bodies that came on earth, all the physical bodies that came on earth went back to earth. Yes or no? Every single food particle that you consume is back in nature. Every particle of air that went through your lungs is now circulating somewhere else in the earth, somewhere else. every last breath, every person released in the last moment is here. Every thought, every person thought is here. Thought is a word and a word is a vibration, and that vibration is on earth, in this universe. You think you are thinking your thoughts still? Do you really think you are thinking your thoughts? Who is thinking? Thinking what? Let's take the current topic about money. All the thoughts, all people thought before us, we are repeating. So there's no escape. Once you have come to human earth, there's really no escape other than realizing what you have come to realize. You can eat any amount of food, good food, this food, that food. You can have nice comfort. You can listen to nice stuff. You can see so-called beautiful colors, different shapes, forms, still one image, still set of colors, still some like minimum 5 types of taste in your mouth, still positive, negative, neutral sensations on your skin. Still positive, negative, neutral smells, how much ever you're going to feel in terms of olfactory. It's the same. It's the same, just recycled. This is multi-dimensional, and the amount of data that is crossing your brain in a given time, you don't know, you can't comprehend it. So you need simple frameworks, mental models, ideas to digest what's happening around you, to understand what cannot be understood. This is where the teachers are created in the universe. The idea of a teacher, the one who has arrived first somewhere. Like mothers become our physical teachers. They came first no matter what. They have to teach how to eat, how to drink, how to dress. They have to teach us. We have to learn from them. So, who is a teacher who can help you break free from the physical bondage or continuation of the human conditioning, and to be in charge of the energy grid? Yes, you can. Just like in the human plane, so you go to an organization, initially an intern, then an executive, then assistant manager, and finally, when you know a lot of stuff about the organization, you can be a director, right? So human consciousness is evolving in the spiritual dimension also like that. There's no stopping. That is why there are future Buddhas, for God's sake. That is why there is a statement about a future Buddha. I mean, why, if it was finished and over, why would you even need a concept of a future Buddha? It's never ending. It's one consciousness. No, there are no people. There are really no people here. That is the delusion. That is exactly where we get stuck. It's one consciousness, just one consciousness. From one came two, male, female, darkness, light, black and white, yin, yang, inside, outside. And from two came 10,000 things, or multitude of things. But it's one. So this is about while living in the multidimensional universe, multidimensional matrix, while being in the prison or the hell, while living in this so-called prison created through this five sensory mechanics and the thing called mind, while living in it, how you can be free eternally, how you can be completely free. So there had been people before us who did that. And their knowledge, their wisdom is there. As I told you, every thought by every person is in there. So whose thoughts you are thinking now? Who's communicating here? Is it JayaShri Maathaa? Do you know her? Do you really know her? I want you to tell me. Do you know her? Who is communicating? Well, how do these words come? Who's communicating? I'm not alone. When I play this role as a teacher, and particularly teaching a particular topic, I'm representing the whole lineages of teachers before me. Calling the name, just by saying their name, we are invoking their energy. That is Babaji Nagaraj, who's an ascended master. They are called as ascended masters, just like Buddha, Jesus. They had a human form, but they realized who they were, who they were, or identity. Since they are free, they left a story in the world about who they have become. They left a story for the people who are still finding themselves. They left a story. They are free from the story. But the ones who are still in the story have fights about them also. But they are free together, eternally, one. They don't have any fights up there. However, when they left a story. Just like all of us, we will leave a story. But no one knows the reality of what it means to be a Buddha, what it means to be a Jesus, what it means to be Babaji, an ascended master, living teacher. As I call upon his name, he is alive. Just like you and I. So my teacher, living teacher, present teacher of this subject is Swami Shivananda Brahmananda and Swami Amenai. They are partners. Shivananda Brahmananda is Toby Alexander. Just like Jamini Samaratunga and JayaShri Maathaa, I have a name to deal with the physical world stuff, the name that was given to me by my parents, and the name I gave myself, or the universe gave me in 2019. So I have that name. Am I both of them? Absolutely no. I'm free from both of them. But I do have a physical form. So when I play the role, I identify with it. So my teacher is Swami Shivananda Brahmananda, who's Toby Alexander. He's living in the USA. He's a teacher, directly got initiation from Babaji Nagaraj, who's a living teacher. It says he's more than 3,000 years old. And he's making himself available or presenting himself for whoever completely get aligned with him. This wisdom came my way, or this path opened in my life in 2009, where I was going through hell. As a young woman, I was going through hell. I was alone, I was suffering, I was depressed. I had to manage everything by myself, and I was suicidal many occasions. But that was the time the divine gift landed on me. And one day I was I randomly wake up at night, I go into samadhis, different interesting spiritual experiences just happen to me. Later on, when I read books, I find what has happened to me. So they were just happening to me. And later on, when I read the text or hear from someone else, oh, this is Kundalini rising. This is being totally out of the body. This is the Vijnana Chayatanya, like just the consciousness abiding itself. Like the mental frameworks or models come into play later on. But I was as the story, the woman in the story was going through hell, a lot of suffering as a young woman. And one day I was just seated in the computer. I just felt like sitting, and anyway, I don't have a purpose except to feed my two pets at that time, who are like my children. So I wake up only to feed them. Otherwise, I don't have energy to to wake up for myself. So they kept the physical body alive. Otherwise, the physical body would have been dead and gone many years before. So I sat down in the front of the computer one day, and to date, I don't know how that information appeared on my computer. I don't know. I really don't know. So this information about Shivananda, Brahmananda, Toby Alexander, DNA activations, all that came. Now that time I was providing for, I had a lot of costs to deal with, and I was managing things by myself because I separated in my relationship. I did not know how to spend so much of money at that time for these programs. They were very expensive. You have no idea how expensive they were. But all I knew was that when I saw that in the computer, when this information came in, all I knew was that I am going to do it. This has come to me and I'm going to do it. And so I just sign up. I somehow pay from the credit card, and then opportunities will come. I used to do training and coaching, you know, I was a trainer and a coach. And so the money would come without any hesitation. And I kept doing these things until one day, actually it happened much before I even do these things, something interesting happened. But when I did all these things, I realized like, this is the easiest way to help people break free from their chains. All those neurologies, the energy pathways that is imprisoning them, making them feel it is nearly impossible to break free from their current condition. And then the things that they inherited from Mother Earth. As I told you, we are first the children of Mother Earth. So every human and every animal that was on Earth is back on Earth. So every experience they went through, every experience all our ancestors went through, all humans went through, is in our body. Do you get this? All the torture that was done to women is inside of us. That's why, my dear ones, my darlings, you are a beautiful woman, I know, but you are a piece of hell, aren't you? Aren't you a piece of hell at least 1 week of the month? Aren't you a piece of hell? I know I am. I know that I am, because I'm in the body. I know the hell. If you are a woman, at least 1 week of the month, you are suffering in hell, and you are not a woman actually. You start literally acting like an animal most of the time. You can't escape it. But there's a way to escape it. The creation is such. If there's suffering, there's a way out. If there's pain, there's purpose. If there's darkness, there's light. Creation is such that this duality is the answer. People think duality is a problem. No, duality is the answer. You just have to change the attention. And anyway, two became from one. Two came from one, so one is the answer finally. So I was, when I learned these techniques, I knew that it completely changed my life. It physically healed me, healed my heart. Those are metaphysical experiences you can't even comprehend. I was given special abilities to heal. And Swami Amenai is the wife or the partner, loving partner of Swami Shivananda Brahmananda. She is the woman who's receiving these interesting, powerful codes from an evolved universe, from a higher realm, let's say higher realm. She's receiving these codes. Codes are, I want you to think of codes as something like words. Now, to talk to you, I'm using a word, right? I'm using our language, like language that we are conversant with, mostly English, let's say here. So those codes are pictures, like yantras, if you like to call it, like a beautiful image, like it's a code, right? So that is how those higher realm beings communicate. So Swami Amenai is the woman who also have directly received Shaktipat from Babaji Nagaraj. She's the one who's sort of downloading these things, and Toby is the man, male energy is about going out and making things happen. Female energy is receiving, conceiving ideas, conceiving pain, extreme pain, and creating something, just like Mother Earth is creating all of us. She's holding all the shit and pain, right? Mother Earth is holding all the torture, right? That has happened ever to the whole of humanity, right? But is she destroyed? With all the nuclear weapons, all the bombs, all the killings, all the destruction in terms of plastic, blah, blah, blah. Is the Mother Nature destroyed? No, humanity is destroyed layer by layer. You can't destroy the Creator. You can come in home to the Creator, where you will never get destroyed as well. But if you don't become one with the creation, you will be destroyed just like all your ancestors were destroyed, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, every possible way. You are bound to get destroyed. You can't escape that destiny. So we are teaching what our teachers were showing us, and what I have come to do is I'm a messenger too, that way, if you like to call me. So Toby Alexander Shivamananda is the one who's going out to the world, the man, the masculine energy, spreading the word fearlessly. Amenai received these codes. I still remember when I first received this initiation, there were two birds that landed on that time I was living in Dehiwala somewhere. That's a beautiful compound, a lot of trees and all that stuff. And there were two birds that just landed on the fan in my living room. And those two birds followed me everywhere I travel in the world. Will you believe me? I mean, when I say, don't take it literally, right? Two birds as in the same species. Wherever in the world I travel, and when I'm about to take a decision, when I'm about to, because my life was, they were using my physical body as a vessel. I did not know most of it because I was stuck just as much as all of you are. I was stuck in my story. So they were helping me heal this story and the vehicle that I am living in. I was not knowing how good enough I am and how safe I am. So these birds, they are like angels too, right? And they were there. I go to Oman, I go to a particular hotel room, they change my hotel room, and then I go to another room. And when I look out from the window, outside is essentially a blind wall of the next building. Even in that blind wall, there's a small space for a window and a tiny space. These two birds are there. Only very recently, their purpose was done, and they kind of, shifted their energy. Anyway, that's like a little story. You like stories, right? I just shared my story with you. And anyway, few months before I learned these techniques, I first got the Karmic Clearance, Auric Clearance, J cell removal, DNA activations, golden DNA activations. I first got them done on myself, and they were very expensive. I would wake up middle of the night because USA time. Uh, Toby Alexander is living in the USA, so I had to wake up at that time, and it was very difficult with all the depression I was going through. But it happened, and my life completely turned around. People who knew what I was going through wouldn't have expected me to navigate through life ever. You know, I don't think anyone would have imagined I would come out of it and created my own empire, so to say. I myself am surprised as a humble woman. Honestly, I'm surprised about how my life went through. I consider it as a miracle only. I have no way of explaining my life, but nothing but a miracle, because I wouldn't have been in existence even before I was born. And after I was born, I would have been dead and gone many times. I was a sick child. Then at the age 27, 26, 27, I was depressed and my relationship broke down. You know, I went through literally a whole lot of sicknesses. I knew in 30s, mid 30s, I had cancer. I know for a fact I had cancer. It's not a surprise to me. And interestingly, that was the time I was healing many, many people using energy healing. But symptoms wise, I had all sicknesses. Fortunately, I didn't go to doctors, because if I had gone to doctors, I would have collected so many medical reports. And by now, another story. However, it didn't happen. Maybe I was left to leave this message for all of you. So I would like to wrap up now saying all these things. And I know it was just flowing, but I could see a structure in it. I have a little metaphor to tell you. Now, let's say I tell you there's a beautiful waterfall at Singaraja Mountain. Singaraja rainforest. There are mountains too. So let's say I say there's a beautiful waterfall, and I say that when I bathe in that water, you can heal, and that's amazing, right? Bathing in that fountain, in that waterfall, it's a miraculous, divinely experience. I keep telling you guys. I can only tell the story. And if you really want to bathe in that waterfall, if you want to have the experience that I have experienced, you got to go there, either with me or find your own way and go there. But you have to trust me. Somewhere you have to trust me. You can't do any of these affairs in the world without trust. Viswasa paramanyati kivekai. Viswasa neto monakatma bhaya, because everything in existence is about viswasa or belief. You have doubt, and that's the problem. Because essentially there's nothing that can ever be doubted in this existence. There's nothing to be doubted because it's nothing. But if you believe everything is so permanent and there's something super solidly there, then you start doubting. So mankind had been doubting God from the time they were created, but they talk about a God. And our famous Buddhists absolutely doubt every teacher, and they keep worshipping a Buddha, but they don't see the living Buddhas, sometimes in their own home ground or the neighborhood. But they like to believe in non-speaking, absolutely non-speaking, stable Buddha who will not react to you, that is a statue. They like to believe that Buddha, but not someone who would guide them. That doubt, your doubt, you have learned from your parents. You have to let go of it. Because when we were born, we did not even know whether we are a male, female, this is my mother, this is the father, this is human earth. We did not know a thing. We had to trust somewhere, someone. So it's like going into a forest. When you have gone to the middle of the forest, that is after age 11 or so, you have halfway in the forest. and you get lost. We all get lost. Once we get lost, it's not even a question about finding, like, it's about somehow finding the way out. Human life is also like that. After age 11, all that data had gone in. You are in the thick forest. And it's about somehow finding the way out. So you are here in this session on this Vesak Poya Day, that is May 15, year 2022, a very, very important day for all of us as humanity. Another important energetic shift is happening. And you are here listening to the way out. So as a teacher, if I had used, let's say, a particular path, I have used a particular path to go to that beautiful healing fountain at Singaraja. So you guys come and ask me, you seem to be a different person. You seem to be knowing something. I like to think the way you do. How do you heal your body? How do you let go of the past? How do you forgive? How do you settle your mind about everything? How do you stay not caring for a thing in the world? How do you do this? How do you become immortal? How do you do this? If you ask me, so I will have to say, okay, I went to that fountain. I had a swim. This is a place, very unique place, blah, blah. And if you ask me, okay, I want to go, I will have to tell you the path, right? I will have to tell you the path, take this path. So that is what I'm doing here too. Because what cannot be conceived and cannot be perceived. We can only point. We can tell you how we came there. මට කියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ මම ආපු ක්‍රමවේදය. NLP වලින් පටන් අරන් රේකි පටන් අරගෙන ඊට පස්සේ මේ DNA activations මේක highest ක්‍රමවේදය. මේ තමයි ප්‍රශ්න අපිට මිනිස්සුන්ට විසඳලා දෙන්න පුළුවන් ලේසිම විදිහ. හැබැයි මේකට ලොකු trust එකක් ඕනේ, ඒ වගේම ලොකු intelligence එකක් ඕනේ. පිනකුත් ඕනේ. මොකද intelligence එක ඔක්කොම මොනවත් එන්නේ නැහැ, පිනත් පහළ මතුවෙන්න ඕනේ. දැන් අපේම ශිෂ්‍යයෝගේ කොච්චර කියලාත් ඒක කරන්න හිත යන්නේ බොහොම ටික දෙනාට. ඊට කලින් අර දුක් ඔක්කොම ඒගොල්ලන්ට විඳවලා එන්නත් ඕනේ සමහර අයට. සමහර අය එහෙම නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට කිව්ව ගමන් හදවත ඕපන්. ඒගොල්ලෝ කිව්ව ගමන් වැඩේ කරනවා. දැන් අපිත් ඇයි මේක කරන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ අහුවනම් මේ දැන් මේ මිනිස් ලෝකේ ආරක්ෂා වෙන්න ඕනේ. මිනිස් ලෝකේ ඉන්ටෙග්‍රිටි එක පවත්වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒතර අපි ජීවත් වෙනකන් අපි හරහා මේ කතාව කියවෙනවා. අර human form එකේ ඉන්න angels ලා, divine beings ලා, ඒගොල්ලෝ මතක් කරගන්න ඕනේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ divine self එක. divine role එක මතක් කරගන්න ඕනේ. නැත්නම් අම්මා තාත්තා අච්චි අම්මා කරපු ඒවා කර කර ඉන්නවා ඉතින්. ළමයි හද කණ්ඩ දීදී ඕවා කර කර ඉන්නවා. ගෙවල් අතු ගගා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඒවා අපිත් කරනවා, ඔක්කොම කරනවා. එහා ගෙදර ළමයි අපි බලාගන්නේ. අපිට ළමයි නැහැ. ඔක්කොම වටේ ඉන්න ළමයිව බලා ගන්නවා, කණ්ඩ බොණ්ඩ දෙනවා, ගෙවල් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ දුක බලනවා. ඉතින් අපිත් කරනවා. එහෙම නෙවෙයි. ඔය දේ කරා කර යනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපේ ආච්චි අම්මලා මැරෙනවා වගේ අපිත් ඔහොමම මැරිලා යනවා. එහෙමනේ වෙන්නේ හැමෝටම. ඒ අන්තිම මොහොත වෙනකන් ඉන්න බෑ. ඔයගලන්ට රස්සාවක් තියෙනවා. ඩිවයින් රස්සාවක්. ඔයගොල්ලෝ හියුමන් බොඩි එකට එන්න කලින් ගත්ත කොන්ට්‍රැක්ට් එක තියෙනවා. ඒ තමයි මේ ග්‍රිඩ් එකෙන් එළියට පැනලා මේ ග්‍රිඩ් එක පිරිසිදුව තියාගන්න එක. ඒ හැරෙන්න ඔයගොල්ලෝ ළමයි බලා ගන්න රස්සාවනේ දැන්ට කරන්නේ. එතනින් එහාට ලොකු රස්සාවක් තියෙනවා. එතනදී ළමයිනුත් අතහැරෙනවා. කරන්න දෙන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒ අතහැරීම තුලින් ළමයින්ට සැනසීමක් වෙන්නේ. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ ළමයි වල්ලගෙන ඉන්න විදිහට ළමයින්ට සැනසීමක් නැහැ. හරියට ඔයාලට සැනසීමක් නැහැ නේ. ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ අම්මලා තාත්තලා ඔයාලා වල්ලගෙන හිටපු විදිහ. සැනසීමක් තියෙනවද? අපේ උන්ගෙන් අදටත් මට බේරෙන්න බෑ. දැන් තමයි ටික ටික තේරෙන්නේ එයාට මම කවුද කියලා. අදටත් අදටත් කණ්ඩ බොන්න දෙනවා. හොයලා බලන වේදේ කියනවා ඉතින් අර කරුණාවට න්යාවේ පවුලට ආවේ කරුණාවෙන්. ඉතින් එයා දුකෙන් මිදව ගන්න. ඉතින් කරන්න එපා පොරොන්දු වුණු වැඩේ. ඒ හින්දා ඉතින් මාත් කරනවා. ඒ නිසා තේරුම් ගන්න මම විශ්වාස කරනවා මෙතන හිටපු හැමෝටම මේව තේරුණා කියලා. මම ඒක මම දන්නවා ඒක එහෙමයි කියලා. එහෙම නැතුව ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඉන්න බෑ මෙතන. මේ ශක්තියට ගැලපෙන්නේ ඉන්න බෑ. ඒක වෙන්නේ නැහැ. කොහොම හරි වෙලා ඩිස්කනෙක්ට් වෙලා හරි යනවා. ඉතින් හොඳයි. කරුණාවයි ආදරෙයි ඔය හැමෝටම පණිවිඩය පැහැදිලි කියලා විශ්වාස කරනවා. ලංකාවේ කතාව ගත්තොත් දරුවනේ 2000 මේක දැන් ඕගොල්ලොන්ට දැන් මාව දැන්නේ මුණ ගැහෙන්නේ කීප දෙනෙක් දන්නවා මාව. ඉතින් 2025ට ලෑස්ති වෙන්න කියලා විතරක් කියනවා මම ඔයාලට. 2025ට ලෑස්ති වෙන්න ඕනේ නම් දැන් ඒ කාලේ අපි ගයිඩන්ස් දුන්න නිසා කොවිඩ් වසංගතයේදී ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එක ගා ගන්නේ නැතුව කොටසක් බේරුණා. ඒගොල්ලෝ පැන ගත්තා ඊළඟ ග්‍රිඩ් එකට. දැන් ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එක ගහගත්තට ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. ඔය අන්ඩූ කරගන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඉතින් DNA එකට එෆෙක්ට් වෙලා ඉවරයි. ඒක තමයි ඇජෙන්ඩා එක. ඒක තමයි මේ ලෝකේ භෞතික පදාර්ථයේ හිර වෙලා ඉන්න සත්ව කොටසක් ඉන්නවනේ. එයාට ඇජෙන්ඩා එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඕනේ සල්ලි බලය මුදල් ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ ලෝකේ කකා ඉන්නේ. තේරෙන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලෝගේ යථාර්ථයේ මේ ලෝකේ කකාම ඉන්න තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ. ඒ සත්ව කොටසේ මේ ලෝකේ මැනිපියුලේට් කරනවා. හැබැයි අපි වගේ අය ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් අපි වගේ අය 110ක් වුණාම ඇති. ඒ අර කට්ටිය 90 තමයි. ඒක හැමදාට එහෙමයි. තේරුණේ? හර්ඩ් එක වැඩි. නායකයා එකයිනේ. රිකවරබල්. ඔව් රිකවරබල් තමයි. රිකවරබල්. බය වෙන්න එපා. රිකවරබල්. හැම එකම එනර්ජිනේ. දැන් බලන්න මේ දරුවා මේක ඇහුවා. අනුර සම්පත් අහනවා රිකවරබල්ද? රිකවරබල් තමයි. දැන් ඒ ඇයි මොකද ඇහුවේ? විශ්වාසයක් දාලා තිනවා ඒක අන්රිකවරබල් කියලා. නෑ අපේ DNA ඇක්ටිවේෂන් කරන්නේ මොකටද දරුවනේ? ඕගලන්ගේ ඔරිජිනල් බ්ලූප්‍රින්ට් එක ඒ තියෙන ඩිස්ටිනේෂන් සයින් කරන්න. ඉතින් ඉච්චර එකක් කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඔය මේ ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එකක් නේද? ඉතුරු හරියවල් ඉස්සරහදී කියන්නම්. මම අනාගත වාක්‍ය කියන කෙනෙක් නෙවෙයි. හැබැයි මම අනාගතේ සකස් කරන කෙනා. මම අනාගතයෙන් ආපු කෙනා. එච්චරයි මම කියන්නේ. මම අනාගතේ එතකොට ඔයාලට කියන්නේ ඉස්සරහට 2025ට ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලෑස්ති වෙන්න. ලෑස්ති වෙන්න හොඳ මේ දේවල් කරන්න. මේ මග පෙන්වීම අනුව යන්න. හිත පිරිසිදු කරගන්න. විශ්වාස කරන්න එක ගුරුවරයෙක්ව තෝරගන්න. ඒ ගුරුවරයාත් එක්ක යන්න ඒ ගමන. එයා ගෙනියන තැනක් තියෙනවා අතල්ලාගෙන ටීචර් ගෙනියනවා වගේ. ඒ ඉස්කෝලේ කාලෙත් බාන්නකො සමහර ගුරුවරුන්ව ජජ් කර එපා ගුරුවරුන්ට බැන අපහාස කර ඒ ගුරුවරයාගේ විෂය කවදාවත් ඒ ශිෂ්‍යයට පිළිහිටෙන්නේ නැහැ. කොහරි හොඳට ශිෂ්‍ය දිනලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒ ශිෂ්‍යයා ඒ ගුරුවරයාගෙන් හරියට ඉගෙන ගත්ත ශිෂ්‍යයානේ. මේ හැමදේම එහෙම තමයි. ඔය හයරාකි එකක් දෙන්න නම් ඉතින් බෑ. ඒක එහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ 2025ට ලෑස්ති වෙන්න ඕන. දැන් මේ earth angels කට්ටියක් ඉන්නෝ evolve වෙන්න ඊළඟ තැනට. ඊළඟ තැනට පරිණාමය වෙන්න earth angels කණ්ඩායමක් ඉන්න හින්දා තමයි අපිට දැනෙනවා. දැන් මම ඔහෙ නිකන් ඔය වාඩිලා ඉන්න ගම එකපාරට මට දැනෙනවා මේක කළ යුතුයි කියලා. ගාමකිශ්‍රීට කියනවා දාන්න පෝස්ට් එක දාන්න මෙහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒක අපි කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒකට සුදුසු අය කොහොමද කරනවා? ඒ කරාම ඒගොල්ලෝගේ මේ ඔක්කොම ශක්තියනේ. දැන් ඔයාලගේ DNA එකේ ඉඳලා මේ වචනයක් ගන්න මේ හැමදේම ශක්තිය. එතකොට අර ඒ ශක්තිය පිරිසිදු කිරීම තමයි මේ කරන්නේ. හැම එකේම කරන්නේ ශක්තිය පිරිසිදු කිරීම. ඕගොල්ලොන්ට හිතලා ආත්ම ගානකින්වත් විසඳ ගන්න බැරි වෙන mental blocks කර්ම ඒ patterns අපි ඔයාලා තබන විශ්වාසය නිසා ක්ලියර් කරනවා. දැන් බාබාජී නාගරාජ හැමෝටම අපිය උන්නේ නෑනේ. ශිවානන්ද බ්‍රහ්මානන්ද කියන්නේ ඔය ගාමකශ්‍රී වගේම software engineer කෙනෙක්. එයාගේ ජීවිතෙත් හරිය මහා ව්‍යසන ගොඩකට මුහුණ දෙදී යනවා. ස්වාමී අමනායි අර පැත්තෙන් තනියම මේ මන්ද බුද්ධික දරුවෙක් හැදෙන අයාට එයා ඒ දරුවට ගොඩාක් ආදරය කරනවා. ඒ දරුවාව සුවපත් කරගන්නේ ක්‍රියාවලිය ලස්සන පොතක් ලියනවා. එයා වෙනස්ම කාන්තාවක්. එයා ගොඩාක් එයාගේ මැරේජ් එකකින් ඇබියුස් වෙලා තනියම දරුවෙක් නිර්මාණ හදාගෙන ජීවත් වෙනවා. ඉතින් අර දරුවත් ඒ මදිවට මන්ද බුද්ධිකයි. වෙනස් දරුවෙක්. ඒ අත්දැකීම එයාගේ ස්පිරිචුවල් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකක් වෙනවා. ආධ්‍යාත්මික එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකක් වෙනවා. එතනදී අමෙනායි ඒ පොත පබ්ලිෂ් කරන තැනදී තමයි ටොබි ඇලෙක්සැන්ඩර් මුණ ගැහෙන්නේ. ඒතර දිව්‍ය විශ්වයෙන් හරියට ඔය ගාමකිශ්‍රී මගේ ජීවිතේට එවුවා වගේ මම තනි වෙලා ඉන්න කාලෙදී විශ්වයෙන් එනවා. විශ්වයෙන් හදලා දෙනවා මේ ගැලපෙන එනර්ජි ෆ්‍රීකවන්සි. එතකොට ඒ ටීචර්ස්ලා දෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මේ දෙන්න තමයි මේ අදටත් ඒගොල්ලෝ ජීවත් වෙනවා. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලන් කොන්ෂස්නස් එක තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මම ලංකාවේ ඉඳගෙන කරපු දේ තමයි ලෝකේම ගිහිල්ලා මහා මිලියන ගණන් සල්ලි වියදම් කර අපේ රටේ මිනිස්සුන්ට මේ දැන් කණ්ඩ බොණ්ඩයි ඉතින් ඒක ආයුෂද වර්ග ඕවා මේවා තියෙනවනේ කම්පියුටර් ටෙක්නොලොජිත් අපිට තියෙනවා කොමුකෝ මයින්ඩ් ටෙක්නොලොජි එක ඇඩ්වාන්ස් මේවා ගෙනාවා මම ලංකාවට ඒවා මිනිස්සුන්ට affordable විදියට දුන්නා ඒක තමයි මං කරාගෙන ගියේ. මම ජීවත් වුණා. මගේ ලයිව්ලිහුඩ් එකත් උනා අවසන්. ඉතින් ඔක තමයි කතාව දරුවනේ. මේ ගාමශ්‍රීට ටෙක්නිකල් කැලේ කරන්න කියමු අපි. ප්‍රශ්න ඊට පස්සේ විශේෂ දෙයක් තියෙනවනම් අපි ඇඩ්‍රස් කරන්න. හොඳයි.
Okay. So I'll be mostly speaking in English, and if you'd like me to translate something to Sinhala, please let me know. I haven't translated this to Sinhala, like even though we do Auric Clearance practitioner training, also we do it in English. So these are advanced clearances and activations. As JayaShri Maathaa said, these were created by Maharishi Babaji, and like this is handed down to us by Toby Alexander, Swami Shivananda, and the codes we use originally for these clearances were created by Swami Aminai, and both of them are guided to do that by Babaji. Advanced clearances, there are three advanced energy clearances, and there's one advanced activation. So those three in order are Auric Clearance, Karmic Imprint Clearance, and we used to call the last one J seal removal, but now I call them clearing dead seals and implants. So what are these things? Auric Clearance, we clear things that you acquire in this lifetime, the auric damages. Now, aura, you can get things stuck in your aura. Like your aura, if you think certain thoughts, like we've been doing a class in the Reiki class in the morning. So in Reiki, we clear things. Those are energetic blockages. Now, in Auric Clearance, what we clear are energetic damages. So, and these damages you acquire in this lifetime. So you are not bringing these things from previous lifetimes, or you are not inheriting these from your parents, or you are not inheriting these from earth-grade damages. What we clear in Auric Clearances are damages that you have acquired in this lifetime. මේ ජීවිත කාලේ ඔයාගේ ඕරාවට හා ශක්තිමය ශරීරයට කරගත්ත damages තමයි ක්ලියර් කරන්නේ. දැන් මේවා blockages නෙවෙයි. blockage එකදී damage වෙලා නැහැ. Auric energetic pathway එක ඕරාවේ තියෙන pathway එකයි ඇඟ ඇතුලේ තියෙන meridian pathways වල damage වෙලා නැහැ. ඒ pathways තියෙනවා. ඒ pathways block වෙලා ඉතින්. ඒකට Reiki වගේ ක්‍රමයකින් අපි blockage එක remove කරන energy flow එක හරියන සුවපත් වෙනවා. But in Auric Clearance, what we do is we clear up the damaged energetic body. Energetic body එක damage වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් තමයි Auric Clearances කරන්නේ. එතකොට damages ಜಾති හතරක් තියෙනවා. වැදගත් දේ මේක ඔයා මේ lifetime එක acquire කරන එකක්. දෙවෙනි එක තමයි damage එකක්. blockage එකක් නෙවෙයි. හිර වෙලා නෙවෙයි විනාශ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේක තමයි වෙනස වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් the four types of clearances are: one, occupants or thought forms. So these are non-living entities. So occupants and thought forms, they are not alive. However, they act as if they are alive. They take over your body and make you do things that you don't identify yourself as. ඔයා කියලා නොහිතන දේවල්, ඔබ කියලා නොහිතන දේවල් ඔබලව කරනවා. ජීවියෙක් ඔයාව ටේක් ඕවර් කරා වගේ. වෙන එතකොට සමහරවිට මිනිස්සු කියන්නේ මම එහෙම කරන්න හිතුවෙත් නෑ හැම දෙයක් වුණා කියලා. So those are occupants and thought forms taking over you. So that's one aspect. And another aspect is beings that have died but have not moved on, and they had some sort of a karmic engagement with you. So they come and engaged in your energetic body. So these beings don't try to take over you, rather they drive you to different sort of negativity. Like, it depends on what they feed off. Like if somebody feed off on anger, so that being would point out different things to get angry about and would drive you to rage. Or if there's an energetic being that feeds off sadness, and then that being would show you sad things about life and drive you to depression. So that's what they eat. Like they feed off your emotions. So discarnates, one has a karmic relationship to you, and they have get into your energy body in this lifetime, and they feed off your negative energy emotions. So whatever they feed off, they would try to drive you towards that direction. And then the third and fourth categories are inbound and outbound energetic damages. Like if you go to a certain space where there is negative energies, and if that affects you, you have a portal. So you have an inbound energy damage. And there are other cases where your life force energy may be leaking out of your energy body via outbound damage, and it might go to a different dimension. And if those dimensions have other creatures or other beings that feed off your energy, then they would make it a permanent connection. So they live off, there would be beings in different dimensions that suck out your energy body, and you sometimes you'd feel very depleted because they have taken your energy body and your energy from your energy body via wormholes. So those are wormholes is a outbound energetic damage, and portals are inbound energetic damage. So these four things, occupants or thought forms, which are non-living entities that take over you. Discarnates are living entities that have died but have a karmic relationship. So they have come into your energy body and they drive you to negativity, and they drive you to extreme negativities. So rage, depression are some of them. And then wormholes and portals, these are inbound and outbound energetic damages in your energy body. So these four things you have acquired in this lifetime, and they are permanent damages in your, like these are not blockages, these are permanent damages of the energy body. They need to be healed. The energy body need to be regenerated by removing these things and allowing your higher self to regenerate them. A question is, can we clear out all auric clearance or auric damages? We are allowed to clear the highest priority auric damages, and allowed by whom? Allowed by your higher self. So one part of your mind that we call higher self, that knows the purpose of your life, purpose of your being, allows us the level of clearance that is possible. So usually when we do a clearance program, we would recommend doing 2 auric clearance sessions. So that in a given time, you would be able to clear as much as possible in that time frame. So if you have any questions, please free to put them on the chat, and either myself or JayaShri Maathaa, we can pick it up when you're done with the presentation. So next type is karmic imprints. Karmic imprints are things that you have inherited, either from your previous lives or from your maternal or paternal sides. So these are behaviors, patterns that you have inherited and bringing from other previous lives. So how they act is they would drive you from behind. For instance, if you take something like undeservedness. Undeservedness is the belief that something is not possible. Like it's not possible for our country to change, or if it's not possible for human beings to be wealthy. Like it's not about you, it's about a general statement about the whole of humanity. Nobody is possible, nobody is capable of doing something like that. So there are beliefs that we hold like that. කාටවත් කරන්න බෑ, කිසිම කෙනෙක්ට කරන්න බෑ කියන අදහස තමයි undeservedness කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට මේක අපි මේ කාලේ ඉගෙන ගත්ත දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. මේක අපිට එක්ක parents ලායින් inherit වෙච්ච දෙයක්, නැත්නම් අපි වෙන කොහෙන් හරි අරන් ආපු එකක්. කලින් අත්බව වලින් හරි වගේ අරන් ආපු දෙයක්. මේකද මේ අපි ඉගෙන ගත්ත දෙයක්. learned thing. Unworthiness කියලා කියන්නේ අනිත් අයට පුළුවන් මට බෑ. It is possible for others, but it is not possible for me. I am not worthy of that. So there are other people who are worthy of it. I can look around and I can see the world who are either happy or either rich or whatever that you want to have. Whatever that you want to have, you can see people who has it. Yes, JayaShri Maathaa just pointed out my spellings in the first letter is unreservedness. So it is not unreservedness, it's undeservedness. So I'll fix it later. So unworthiness is undeservedness is nobody is able to do that, nobody is able to have that. Unworthiness is others may be able to have that, but I am not able to have that. So it's about, so then it falls back to you. You want something, but you can't have it, and you acknowledge it is you who can't have it, others can. So you are not worthy. And poverty consciousness is seeing the lack around you. You are seeing that there's not enough for everybody, so you will be compelled to acquire more and more for you. And I'm sure you have seen this behavior when things get little scarce and people, pile up things. That is poverty consciousness. Guilt and victimization. Guilt is you're feeling bad about maybe something you did or something that you thought you did. And victimization is you're feeling bad about things that happened to you. So again, these are learned patterns. You will learn to express yourself in that way. Female image complex is a lifelong, throughout the history, how female gender had been marginalized in the society and how were not allowed to have or allowed to express certain aspects of their life. Then, so those are the basic karmic imprints, and then we get the complex karmic imprints like codependence, how we are dependent on other people. Like sometimes we would try to make somebody else happy because only that way I can feel some sense of happiness, or you would sacrifice some things of you so that you can maintain a relationship. So these are codependencies. You are dependent on another person to give you energy. It doesn't really happen that way. So, and what would end up happening is you would eventually deplete yourself and lose things or lose sense of you. So codependent patterns are really dangerous in that way. Again, these are not things that you have learned. These are things that you have brought in or learned from your maternal or paternal side. And personas and shadows. Personas and shadows are a concept where there's a face that we show to society and there's a face that we hide. So the shadow is the stuff about you that you hide, stuff about you that you don't want to show to other people. And persona is how you hide that from others. So there's a list of 12 personas, and like there are things like terrorist. So the tyrant is somebody who is quite terrorized, and then how they respond to that fear within themselves is by terrorizing other people. And this pattern was very obvious in a couple of situations that we have seen in Sri Lanka recently. There are other patterns like compulsive destroyer. So somebody who wants to be loved but is not feeling loved enough, so they would go out and tax the people who would provide this sensation of feeling for them, and then destroying that relationship, the person and themselves in the process. So compulsive destroyer. So these are complex behavioral patterns like unworthiness and undeservedness. You can sense them as a simpler expressions, and personas and shadow selves are much more complex expressions. They would be much more deep down in your being as expression, but still all of them are karmic imprints. Then karmic imprints කියලා කියන්නේ අපි අරගෙන ආපු දේවල්, කොහෙන් හරි ඉගෙන ගත්ත දේවල්, දෙමව්පියන්ගෙන් හරි නැත්නම් අපේ කලින් අත්බව වලින් හරි අරන් ආපු දේවල්. ඉතින් එතකොට මේවා අපි මේ අත්බවේ කරගන්න දේවල් නෙවෙයි. ඉතින් karmic imprints අපි clear කරන අපිට karmic imprints උත් higher self එකේ permission අනුව තමයි clear කරන්න වෙන්නේ. So we get to clear them only with the permission of your higher self and to the level that higher self allows. So are we clearing all imprints in one go? We are not. We are clearing imprints that is allowed for us to clear in this time frame based on your higher self, what higher self dictates. So higher self knows what is the highest purpose for you right now. So higher self allows us to clear as much as possible in this time for you. So karmic imprint clearances also, we will be doing 2 sessions. අපි sessions දෙකක් කරනවා karmic imprint clearance. එතකොට මේ කාලේ පුළුවන් මේ කාලේ මේ අපි clearance කරන කාලේ පුළුවන් උපරිම ප්‍රමාණය clear කරන එක තමයි ඒකේ අරමුණ. අපි ඉස්සර J seal removal කියලා කිව්වා. දැන් අපි මේකට කියන්නේ clearing dead seals and implants කියලා. So this is different from previous two, because in previous two we had a role in one way or the other. We had a role, or in the Auric Clearance, it is the things we've been doing in this lifetime that brings them. In the Karmic Imprint Clearance, they inherited from our lineage, from father or mother, or we brought them from previous lives. But death seals and implants, and these are intentional or unintentional damage done to earth grid. පෘථුවියේ තියෙන ශක්තිමය ශරීරයට හිතාමතා හෝ අත්වැරදීමකින් හෝ සිදු වූ හානි හින්දා තමයි මේ death seals එන්නේ. එතකොට the reason we get affected by death seals is we are born in earth grid as children. So if you are born in earth grid as a child, you get affected by these seals. So the first set of seals is J seals or Jehovah's seals, and then Jehovah is a race, a very powerful race. So these death seals are quite intentional. They did not want the human race to evolve as much as they did. So it's a intentional seal. Metatron is a very powerful being who is stuck in a certain dimension. So they are in a higher dimension, but they're stuck there. They can't come down or they can't go up. And what they do is they would pretend to be a god, and they would put that implant in you so they can suck out energy from you. So I have questions and I'll answer that question when I'm done with this slide. Templar seal and Templar axiom seals. These are not intentional damages. So this race was trying to do a science experiment in their terms. So they were trying to learn something, and they built that energetic structure on Earth, and that structure collapsed. So these are unintentional damage done to Earth grid. So it's not intentional damage, but it affects us very badly. Cell death programs are intentional damage. Theta seals are intentional damage. Crown of thorn is very much intentional damage. So what crown of so other seals are usually in other parts of the body, but crown of thorns is a damage done to brain centers specifically to block you from evolving. So this crown of thorn is one of the things. If you are stuck on your meditations and if you can't get to a certain state of your meditations, it's crown of thorns that is affecting you really badly. So these things, we clear all of them in once, and when it is cleared, you don't have to clear them again, because you cannot put them back. You inherited them because you were born on Earth, and when it is cleared, it's cleared. So we would highly recommend you getting it done. And previous two also we do, so that you can get to this level. And like, considering the effect of your clearances, this would be the highest level of clearance that you can receive right now. In the Earth grid, this is the highest level of clearance you can receive, and these are the highest level of clearances that would help you in your ascension or awakening. Okay, the question I have received is on karmic imprints. The question is, karmic imprints, is there a way to identify facts and limits? Okay, so I did not understand the question. So let me answer a different question. Is there a way for you to know whether you have them? Yes. You can see them in action. Your karmic imprints are the way you respond to your life. If you feel guilty, then you have the guilt pattern. If you feel victimized, you have the victimization pattern. Unworthiness and undeservedness and poverty consciousness would probably fly under the radar. You know, you would make up your mind, this is enough for me. So you can see whether it is enough for you by your living standards, and whether people around you are satisfied with your living standard. And if it is not, then you are suffering from one of them. Codependencies would stay under the radar unless you know the codependencies, unless you notice that you're sacrificing your friends and trying to make somebody else happy Or if you're seeing somebody else sacrificing their friends and trying to make you happy, there's a codependency going on. So there are about, I think, 12 codependency patterns. If you know them, then you can see it in action. Persona, shadow, try to hide itself. That's why it's called shadow. So it's your shadows, and usually you can't see your shadow unless the light is from the back. So you probably need a teacher or a mentor for you to see these shadows. Like if you want to see them now, in the energetic work, we don't expect you to know them. We don't expect you to know them, because in energetic, in NLP, like if you do life coaching and all, we'll be talking about them. We'll be clearing them with the talk therapy. So we'll be making use of NLP and NLP tools to talk to you and show them how they are, and then how we can overcome them. In energetic work, we clear the energy grids that keep you stuck on them. So it is done differently. So we don't expect you to know them. We like from Swami Amenai, we have received the codes to clear them. So even though we learned it from Toby Alexander, we have received the codes from Swami Amenai to clear them. So we make use of the codes and clear these patterns. So I have received another question. Can you explain female image complex once again, please? Female image complex is historic male, it's male dominance and a suppression of women. So this was not very predominant in Sri Lanka. However, we've been conquered. We are a conquered race. And since we are conquered, we adopted some of the Western ideologies. Like women were allowed to own land in Sri Lanka. Women were not prohibited earning land, doing agriculture, or running businesses. Like that was not a problem we had. But that was a problem that Europeans had. There was a tremendous suppression of women in Europe, and only way for a woman to survive in a certain time was to find a proper husband, and that's it. There was no other way. You need to get married. There was no other way for you to earn your sustenance. And intelligent women were severely suppressed, like all the witch trials and all. Like that was about suppressing women. So after a while, when we were conquered by these people, it starts seeping into our culture. So I think near the independence, we start getting ordinances like Sri Lankan, the law. I don't know whether you know this, but the Sri Lankan law has a lot of clauses that are anti-woman. Like I think that happened in the previous, that one of them came to light on the previous regime, where women servers could not serve liquor, right? That's in law. And before that, women could not go out in the street after 10 p.m. unless there was a chaperone. This is on law. This is the level of suppression. And this is built into religions. Like look at Buddhism. Buddhism was supposed to be destroyed in 500 years because the ordinance of females, and like one day Buddha, like everything in Buddhism was preached by Buddha because somebody asked something. Somebody came to Buddha and asked some question, and this is one thing where Buddha woke up, like out of the blue. He was sleeping, and then he woke up and he said, okay, I looked at all these things, and guess what? Women cannot be a Buddha. Right? Nobody asked him. He just said, that is weird, because everything else somebody asked him. So we cannot say Asian cultures did not have suppression of women. And guess what? When you have been suppressed, guess what happened to the energy? And guess what happened to men and women after that? Like, do you think men would have a cleaner energy body after that point? You have anger and animosity towards somebody else, the race. 50% of the people that you live with, you think they're a lesser being. You think you can have a perfectly clean energy body from that point onwards? You can't. Your energy body is messed up, whether you are the one who is suppressing or whether you are the one who's suppressed. Your energy body is messed up. So female image complex represent one of the bigger problems in our society as of right now. Like, it's not only Buddhist only problem, huh? In Christianity, the Eva is made out of rib. Like, Eva is not our original creation. It's only the Adam that was the original creation. The Eva is made out of, rib of Adam. So there are Catholic, or I can't say Catholic, the Christian schools that says the women cannot go to heaven because they don't have a soul. They are not a creation. Only men can go to heaven. And like, if you look at the Islamic idea of heaven, only men goes to heaven, and if husband allows, wife can also go to his heaven. You just hate all the religions after that point. All right, so this is what has been going on. So suppression of females. Hope that is clear. And you need to let go of that. You need to overcome this burden that is placed on you by society. This is not something you earn. It was just placed on you. This is as bad as the crown of thorns. This is as bad as that. It just blocks you. You didn't ask for it. It's just blocking you, and you'd feel guilty and bad. Yeah, and as Maathaa said, it's both men and women who has it. It's not only women who has it. Like, when you suppress somebody, and when those idea of suppression comes to your head, whether you're the one who's doing it or when you're the one who's receiving it, your energy body is damaged now. All right, so these are the three clearances: Auric Clearance, Karmic Imprint Clearance, and JayaShri removal clearance of death seals and implants. Why this is called JayaShri removal? I think probably people would have known about Javi and death seals initially, and then later others were added. So originally it might have been the name, and that's the name that is given to us by our teacher. So we use the JayaShri removal, but we clear a lot more death seals and implants. So when we clear up to this point, so your energy body is pretty good, and then we can go into the activations. Activations is where your energetic potential is enabled. So the word I use is enabled. So it is not that I give you abilities. It's rather your ability to receive these gifts are enabled. So the way I explain this is usually like if you are in a room, and if you want to get to the other room, but there's no door between them. So what we do is we put a door. We create an opening for you to go to the other place. But you need to decide to go, and you need to take the actions to go. If you don't take the actions, you would be stuck. Like you can have the all 12 strands activated and still stuck not accessing your intuition. So intuition is one of the first things that you have access to. So you need to choose to have access to intuition. Interesting question is, why somebody would not want to have access intuition? They know they're in a bad place, but that is their normal. So this is one of the big problems that you are going to face. If you're in a bad place, but if you're used to it, if it is your normal, you're going to suffer through that. And you're doing it now. You're doing it now. You're going to suffer through your normal. And the universe or God or whatever, like, would send you messages, hey, get out of this situation, build a better life. And you'd be like, no, I'm not hearing you. I'm going to live through my normal. And that intuition is going to get stuck in your third eye. And if you get third eye irritations and all, that is your suppressed intuition. So it is not that you are not intuitive, you are just rejecting the messages. So other levels are, the telepathy and telekinesis and all that. Mostly our wish of doing this DNA activation is for you to listen to yourself properly, fully. That's all. But if you want to reach other levels, you need to start doing the work. But it would be highly beneficial if you at least listen to yourself. fully and listen to that message and embrace that message and act accordingly. So 12 strand DNA activations is a 3-stage process. So we'll take 3 days to do it, to activate 4 strands at a time, to bring you to the highest possible activated level. So this is activation. So clearances, the clearance work finish at J cell removal or dead cell removal. So here we clear only, and here this is the next stage of activating and bringing you to the highest potential. So advanced clearances, these are the 4 things: Auric clearance, Karmic imprint clearance, J cell removal or dead cell removal, and finally the 12 strand energetic DNA activation. All right, if you have any questions for me, you can ask them from me. Otherwise, I can talk to you about what else we do in energy work. In energy work, I teach Reiki Degree 1, Degree 2, and Reiki Master. So Reiki Degree 1, Degree 2, I do at one class, and Reiki Master I do as a separate class. And then JayaShri Maathaa will be teaching Qigong. She's already teaching Qigong, and she would update whether what are the next plans for that. Other than that, we teach meditations in 3 levels. Luminous meditation is for you to reach samadhi or dhyana. So beyond that, you can go on trying to build different mind skills, or else like if you're keen on developing other skills with your mind, then I would highly recommend you taking part in the luminous meditation and be able to reach samadhi states. However, our main interest is to get into awakening or uttama bhavana, so enlightenment. So awakening meditation we do in 2 parts. One, awakening meditation training is for anybody who wants to be in the slower path. Emptiness experience is for anybody who is interested on a faster path. I can't really say which one would be faster, but emptiness experience is specifically dedicated for full awakening. So if somebody wants to join emptiness experience, we usually interview them to make sure that they are fully prepared to take on that path. Awakening meditation, the entry criteria are not that stringent. So these are other things that we do. So I would now invite JayaShri Maathaa also to join this session. And if you have any questions, you can raise to us, and JayaShri Maathaa also share anything that I might have missed out.
Wonderful. Thank you, GamakaShri. Every time listening to you doing this work is giving me a feel-good factor as well. Whatever said and done, you are one of my creations. So you did a perfect job actually explaining these things. I'm happy. I'm very happy. They are very well explained. So thank you everyone joining. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we will do a quick meditation. And I will also do an energy clearance for all of you. And anyone who's open and willing to, we're open and willing for a healing. Yeah, anyone, because we can't force healing on everyone else. Yeah. Yes, Dilani. Yes, feel free to ask the question. You will have to unmute. Dilani, you are ready. Okay. Okay. You have a question, Dilani? Or you have a question?
No, Mathavani, I was just saying I want the healing session.
Right. Certainly, you deserve a healing. Yes.
Rasanjali.
Yes, Rasanjali. Thank you, Rasanjali.
Hi, everyone. I just want to know, JayaShri Maathaa, whether we can just connect with you and then practice all of these energy clearance and meditation parts, like for me to also learn and to practice for
Yes.
the day-to-day life.
Yes, Rasanjali. So that mainly there are many ways you can get this started. Like for an example, Dilani joined us, I think initially with Reiki. She started listening to my Dhamma discourses. That's how it started. And then she started learning Reiki, NLP, and then she learned Reiki. Then she got into meditation as well. Then there are special programs that we do for Inner Circle. She's part of the Inner Circle. And those workshops. And recently she, I think, just completed the DNA activations, the advanced energy clearances. For Rasanjali, this is what I can tell you. You can straight go into advanced energy clearances. You are capable. You just have to talk to GamakaShri and get the program details and then schedule the work, schedule the dates, because all this work we are doing distantly, including NLP training now, right? Thanks to COVID, we learned how to learn and teach distantly. Anyway, advanced energy clearances work when I did around 10 years ago as well. So when I was doing this work, I encouraged doing distantly, because they are imagine you're going to a surgeon, like a medical doctor, and you're getting a surgery done, right? And they're removing Dilani, may I kindly ask you to mute your yeah, thank you. GamakaShri, you as well, please. Yeah, that's an echo. All right, thank you. So it's just like getting a surgery done. And let's say during the surgery, thank you. So during the surgery, someone removes, like the doctor removes something like really a malignant portion, a system out of your body. So you need to rest, right? You need to eat differently. You are going to be a different person. Even after physical surgery, you are going to be a very different person. Have you heard about that story? Like after surgeries, people personality traits itself changing. Yeah, it's because it's a chemical reaction. So when it comes to advanced energy work, also, it's very much like a surgery. I would say it is much more intense than even a physical surgery. Because even the physical body, there's an energy body. So we are working with your energy body. That's why, those days, I don't recommend people come driving to me to get the work done. I recommend they do it distantly, but some people like to see me because I was a famous coach and a healer. No? So the initial ones, the Auric and the Karmic clearances, I used to do in person, face to face. But then later on, I realized even after doing such work, they rather be in seclusion, taking a nap, taking a nice bath, meditate, sleep well, So I want all of you to know everything that we are doing now as programs, they are done anyway, distantly. Advanced energy clearance program does not even having it's not having any lecturing or coaching sessions as well. But of course, GamakaShri will give you handouts. There are handouts for you to read through, understand, like let's say these karmic patterns, right? So every day you can read through this content and notice when those patterns appear in your life. So partly we do the energy work or so-called surgery work, right? We are clearing things for you with your permission and in alignment with your higher self. So everything is happening for your good. Okay, nothing will ever happen that is not good for you. And also people in your life, it will happen in a very holistic and a ecological manner. Having said that, since we are having that psychology and coaching background, you will also be guided by GamakaShri as to how to get the best out of the things that we do energetically, because it's happening and unconscious. Like for an example, JSL removal, we recommend doing at night and when you are asleep. Ideally, only when it comes to JSL removal, we recommend doing it at night and when you are asleep, because it's directly working on your physical body, energetic body, but physically you start healing. I remember when I got it done around 11 to 12 years ago, all these dead cells on the left side of the body. You can, because I was not a sleeper. I have not slept for many years. Like, I don't sleep. Now I sleep. I know how to sleep. But in my life, I was in either samadhi or different mental states, different stuff. You know, my brain is a very different brain. So, and I lived my life without sleep for around 20 odd years. So the left side of the body, you can literally feel in the exact locations, these dead cells being released. So essentially you can, I recommend you start off either with Reiki, but you are someone who can go straight into DNA activations, as in Auric Clearance, Karmic Clearance, and the whole program. So please talk to GamakaShri and get information, and you can start.
Just to add one thing, we do teach these advanced clearances. We usually do it as a treatment done by us to you. However, for advanced enough students who have done Reiki and has gone through these treatments, if they are interested, we do teach. Right now, we teach only Auric Clearance. So, and I hear a lot of good stories from the students who have learned it. So it is available. And soon, if there's enough momentum, we might consider teaching Karmic Imprint Clearance as well. But the your energetic sensitivity needed to do Karmic Imprint Clearance is much higher compared to Auric Clearance. Auric Clearance, you need more sensitivity than regular Reiki practitioner, which you can build with meditation and energy work. So which we would be doing as part of the training. Karmic Imprint Clearance require much more extensive sensitivity from your side. So we would like our students to show that you can learn it, and if you show us that you can learn it, we will teach it to you.
And yeah, I think
those are available.
And I think Karmic Imprint Clearance, to be able to do Karmic Imprint Clearance, you got to be able to call yourself a teacher, as in terms of this Buddhist enlightenment path, you got to have come to the first level of enlightenment, so to say. I mean, otherwise you won't be able to have that confidence, clarity, that conviction to do your job, like to be able to see someone's karmic pattern, show it to them, because you know it in your life. It's conviction, it's confidence. So maybe that is the reason why we don't have, now that the discussion came up, maybe one of these days there will be a student showing up at the door and telling us, I'm ready to teach Karmic to do Karmic Imprint Clearances. We are also looking forward, actually. During my recent NLP training, also I was suggesting that I sense there are some teachers, but they have not embraced their identity as teachers yet. They are still attached to their old identities. So that is the thing. So there are many teachers. They are the ones who will prepare the world to the 2025 and 2030. We will have a wonderful time, especially you guys. I mean, the ones who have got their work done, we'll have a wonderful time in 2030. Others will have to go through quite a lot. It's all about evolving your consciousness. Yeah. I think time is up. I think we spent quite a good time, isn't it? Thank you everyone for staying with us all this while. You must thank your own body, your mind, your higher self, right? And the technology. I think everything is going miraculously fine for every one of us, right? We have continued power supply, internet connection is there. Isn't it amazing, right? I think it's amazing that 2 full hours, we were able to be together. And let's do a quick meditation, and I will do an energy clearance with the permission of all of you consciously, and of course from your higher self, right? So when you sit upright, shoulders relax your facial muscles very well, very well. Relax them. You can tap. Yeah, relax. relax. Just relax. Yeah. Wonderful. So your left hand, make sure you don't have rings and watches, just free, ideally free. If you have a ring that is stuck, can't help. Just relax it. Relax it over the arm of the chair. So very relaxed. This left hand, I want you to keep it very relaxed, like a rag doll. Okay. Fingers pointed to the earth. Fingers pointed to the earth. හොඳටම සහැල්ලු කරන්න නිකන් පණ නැති කරලා. එතකොට ඔයගලන්ට අර energy sensations හොඳට දැනෙයි. එහෙම කරලා කකුල් දෙක හොඳට පොළොවේ තියන්න. Keep both feet on the mother earth fully. Relax හොඳටම relax වෙන්න. දැන් අපි චිගෝන් උගන්වද්දී එහෙම නැත්නම් martial arts teachers ලා martial arts උගන්වද්දී උනත් හොඳම ඒ training experiences වලදී වෙන මොකක්වත් නෙමෙයි උගන්වන්නේ. Completely let go කරලා relax වෙන්න උගන්වන්නේ. දැන් පංච් එකක් ගැහුවත් ඒක ගහන්නේ අර එනර්ජි එකකින්. ඇඟෙන් නෙමෙයි, ඇටකටු කූඩුවෙන් muscles වලින් නෙමෙයි. එතකොට අපිට damage වෙනවා. But when you work with energy, you can get protected. You just need to learn to tune into your energy body. ඇඟේ දල ස්වභාවයෙන් එන්න ඈත් වෙලා ශක්තිමය සිරුර perceive කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕන. සංජානනය කරලා. ඒ ශක්තිමය සිරුරේ ජීවත් වෙන්න ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන. එතකොට අර ඇඟේ දල ස්වභාවය එන්න සියුම් වෙවි යනවා. ඇඟට ඇත්තටම කර්මානුරූපව මොන හරි වුණත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැතු යනවා. කර්මානුරූපව තියෙනවනේ ඉතින් අයින් කරන්න බැරි කොටසක් තියෙනවා. ඒවා ඔයාගේ lessons. ඒ lessons නැතුව ඔයා වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒවට ආස නැති වුණා කියලා වැඩන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් ලෝකෙට කොවිඩ් වසංගතේ හදාගත්තානේ අපි නිර්මාණය කරානේ. හැබැයි ඒකෙන් අපි හොඳ තැනකට ආවා මනුෂ්‍ය සංහතිය ඇත්තටම. හැමදාම හොඳක්මයි වෙන්නේ. වෙලා තිබුණෙත් හොඳමයි. හොඳක් නැති වුණා නම් මේ ලෝකේ ප්‍රාත්මක් නැහැ. There's a continuous flow of well-being in this universe. I want you to know that. I want you to remember it all the time. Especially remember it when you are not well, when you are having problems, when you are angry. Angry වෙලාවෙදී ඒක මතක තියාගන්න. There's only a continuous flow of well-being. එහෙම මතක තියාගන්න. දැන් angry sad වෙලාවට there's only a continuous flow of well-being. ඒක එහෙම නොවුන නම් අර ජාමිනි මැරෙලා නෙමෙයි. It was only a continuous flow of well-being. ඒ well-being එක එනවා. හරියට මඩ තියෙන්න ඕනේ නේ නෙළුම පිටින්. ඒ වගේ තමයි. ඉතින් මේ ටික ඔලුවට ගන්න. මේ දැක්ම අවශ්‍යයි. දැන් මේ like people are going for different healings and all. අර quick fixes වලට Panadol පෙත්තක් අර මේ ගන්නවා injection එකක් ගහ ගන්නවා වගේ කරලා ජීවත් වෙන මනුස්ස කොටසක් ඉන්නවා. යටේ ගහගෙන යනවා. තව කොටසක් ඉන්නවා ලෙඩ හැදි නොවෙන්න විසඳ ගන්නවා. කෑම බීම වෙනස් කරනවා, නිදා ගන්නවා, exercise කරනවා. හොඳ ආශ්‍රයයකට යනවා, හොඳ පරිසරයකට. ඒ වගේ they change the way of living and they remove the causes of sickness. දැන් ඒක තමයි ideal එක. ඊට පස්සේ ඕක කාලයක් මාස්ටර් කරාම අනිදාට උගන්වන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. සමහර අය උගන්වන්න තීරණය කරනවා, සමහර අය උගන්වන්න කැමති නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ කැමති නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ එක්ස්ප්‍රෙස් කරන්න දන්නේ නැහැ. සමහර අයට ඒක හැකියාව තියෙනවා විශ්වෙන්. ඒක ඒගොල්ලෝ කතා කර ඒක කියලා දිතියක්. ඉතින් මේ energy work ගත්තත් right, little by little you got to start perceiving everything energetically, because any energy never get destroyed. It just transforms from one thing to another. මේ transient nature එක අපිට දකින්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. හැම වෙලේම වෙනස් වෙවි යන ස්වභාවය දැක හිතට හැකි. Because who you are is not the body, not the mind, not even the consciousness. is the one who is aware of even consciousness. ඔක්කොටම මුල. ඔක්කොගෙම මුල ඔබ. මේ මුලටම ගියාම මේ කිසි එකක් ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ. දැන් වැඩේ තියෙන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ ලෙඩේ පවා මේ අවස්ථාවක් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. දුක අවස්ථාවක්. දැන් හැබැයි මේ ක්‍රමවේද අපි ඇයි තාම මේ ලෝකෙට කියන්නේ මේවා උගන්වන්නේ මේවා කරන්න කියන්නේ ඇයි? ඒ කරන්න කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ සාමාන්‍ය ජීවිත පැවැත්ම හොඳින් කරගෙන යන්න මේ අර මම විශ්වාස කරන දේ තමයි මේ දුක් විඳ නිවනක් කියලා එකක් නැහැ. දුක් විඳ කැපකිරීම කර දෙවියන් දකින්න කියලා එකක් නැහැ. මම දන්නේ නැහැ මේක. අපි සුවෙන් සැනසීමෙන් සෞභාග්‍යමත් බොහොම සුවෙන් අපිට පුළුවන් මේ සත්‍ය අවබෝධය කරගන්න. ඒ අතීත මෙන්ටල් මොඩල් එකකින් හින්දා තමයි අර දුක් විඳින්න ඕන එකේ ඔලුවට දැම්මා. ඒගොල්ලෝ කරපු විදිහනේ. ඉතින් අපි කියනවා නෑ. අපිට සුවෙන් පුළුවන් මේක. අපි මොකද මේ කුරුසේ කර ගහනවා කියන්නේ ජීසස් වහන්සේ විතරද කුරුසේ ගැව්වේ. මම කුරුස ගහලා ඇතිලා අනේ මන්දා. කුරුස කර ගහගෙන කන්ද වටේ යන්නේ නැති සියවතාවක්. හැම ගුරුවරයෙක්ම කුරුසයක් කර ගහනවා. කවදා හරි ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගුරුවරු වුණ දවසට මේ ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එක ඔයගලන්ට කියන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ අපි ඔක්කොගෙම දුක දරනවා. ඒ දරන්න පුළුවන් විඥානයක් අපිට තියෙනවා. ඇඟකුත් හැදිලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒක දරන්නේ මොකටද? අපිට දරන්න පුළුවන් නිසා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි හොයාගන්න එකෙන් ක්‍රමයක් විසඳන්න සුවපත් වෙන්න. ඊට පස්සේ අපි ඒක කියනවා ලෝකෙට. ඉතින් මේ ඔයාලා තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන දේ තමයි මේ හැම මොහොතෙම ප්‍රශ්නෙට උත්තරෙත් තියෙනවා තමන් ඇතුළේ. එන්න තමන් ගැන තමන් මේ මම කවුද කියන එක ගැන මේ අවයානස් වැඩි වීමක් තමයි වෙන්නේ. ඒ අවයානස් එක වැඩි වෙන ගානේ ඔයාලටත් නිදහසක් ලැබෙනවා මේ ලෝක තලයේදී. සැනසීමෙන් ජීවත් වෙලා සැනසීමෙන් මියදෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. අනිත් තමන්ගේ අවටින් අයට මේ බලපෑම කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඒ කිසි එකක බලාපොරොත්තුවකුත් තොරව දැන් මෙහෙම කරා කියලා අපි ඒ කාලේ මම එහෙම ඒ ගොඩාක් සල්ලි වියදම් කරගෙන ඒවා කරා කියලා මං කිසිම දවසක expectations තියාගෙන ඉඳලා නැහැ. මම expectations තියාගන්න. expectations, disappointment, blame. expectations, disappointment, blame. ඒතර කලින් කව වගේ අර මිනිස්සු කොටසක් ඉන්නවා බෙහෙත් අරගෙන එදා මෙදා වේල ඔහොම හරි ගැටයක් ගහගෙන එහෙම යනවා. තව කණ්ඩායමක් ඉන්නවා කොහොම හරි ලෙඩේට හේතුව හොයාගෙන ඔක විසඳනවා කියන ඉගෙන ගන්න. අදිෂ්ඨාන කරනවා. අදිෂ්ඨාන කරනවා. තව කණ්ඩායමක් ඉන්නවා එහෙම අදිෂ්ඨාන කරලා මම ලෝකෙටත් කියලා දෙනවා මේක කියලා. මේ කෙනේ තමයි මම. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා තමන් බලන්න තමන්ගේ අදිෂ්ඨානය මොන වගේද කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ අදිෂ්ඨානය ඇතුව යන්න. හැම උදව්වක්ම එනවා. හැම උදව්වක්ම එනවා. ගහ කොළ සතා සිව්පා කොටිම සමනල පැටියගෙන් පවා උදව්වක් එනවා. ඒ තමයි මගේ අත්දැකීම. ඒක පුදුමාකාර දෙයක්. බලාපොරොත්තු සෙට් කරන්න එපා. එක එක දේවල් කරලා ඔය දැන් ඔය ලෝකේ තව දේවල් තියෙනවනේ මිනිස්සු සල්ලි හම්බ කරගන්න දේවල්. ඒ යంత్ర මන්ත්‍ර ඔය තියෙන අම්මෝ මේ දවස්වල හරි කතානේ විශ්ව කතා. හැබැයි එක තැනකවත් මම කවුද කියලා හොයන්න ගන්නන්නේ නැහැ කවුරුත්. PSN ආවත් අරයාවත් මෙයාවත් මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට මම කවුද කියලා උගන්වන්නේ. මම කවුද කියන එක හොයාගන්න උදව් කරන්නේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඉතින් කවුරු ආවත් කාගේ හරි කවුරු හරි වෙලා ඉන්නවනේ. රාවණාවත් කවුරු ආවත් කාගේ හරි කවුරු හරි වෙලා ඉන්නවනේ. එහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ හැමෝටම completely liberate වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඕන මම මේ statement එක කිව්වා. completely liberate කරා ගන්න පුළුවන්. පුළුවන්. අනේ දැන් මේ thought එකේ ඉඳලා S2 වහලා හොඳට හුස්මක් අරගෙන මගේ කෝඩ් එක තමයි මගේ නම that is JayaShri. එතකොට ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සම්භවයක් ඇතුව යමෙක් ඉපදුනා නම් මේ JayaShri කෝඩ් එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. To clear the past karmic patterns like past blockages and create a new momentum for the future. මම emphasize කරන්නේ creating new momentum for the future. ඇත්තටම මගේ interest එකක් නැහැ past ඒවා clear කරනවා කියන එකට මට interest එකක් නැහැ මොකද මම past present future කියලා තුනක් දකින්නේ නැහැ. ඔක්කොම එකක්. ඒ නිසා හැබැයි මගේ interest එක තියෙන්නේ ඉස්සරහ momentum එක හදන නිසා මම statement එකක් කරනවා JayaShri කියන momentum ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සම්භාවයක් යමෙකුට තියෙනවා නම් කියලා හිම විශ්වාස කරනවා නම් ඔය කෝඩ් එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් ඉස්සරහට momentum එක හදන්න. එතකොට පිටිපස්සේ වෙන දේ උන දේවල් ගැන නොදැන හිටියාට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඉදිරි momentum එක හැදෙනවා. So I want you to silently affirm the word JayaShri and breathe from bottom to up. පහළ ඉඳලා ඉහළට හුස්ම ගන්න කොඳුනාරටියේ අවධානය යොමු කරමින්. So take your breath, channel your breath from bottom of the spine all the way up to the crown. Bottom to up spine. JayaShri up here. Now once more. JayaShri. Now imagine this energy is flowing from the front of the body towards your pelvic area. There's a place called door of life. ඔගොල්ලෝ දැනට navel center එක කියලා හිතන්නකෝ. navel center එකට ඉස්සරහින් ජයශ්‍රී. Again breathing in upwards. Jayashri, breathing out from the front to the navel center. Below the navel center, there's a place called door of life. එක අපේ සිරුර හැදෙන ශක්ති මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ තියෙන උණු පල්ලෙහාවතන ඇතුලේ. So Jayashri from the spine all the way up to the crown, and from the front, Jayashri to that center. සිරුර හැදුණු තැනට මධ්‍යස්ථානයට යනවා. ආයෙත් හුස්ම ගන්න Jayashri all the way up. Jayashri breathing out from the front channel to the lower dantian or lower energy center. Again from back of the spine, breathing up, Jayashri. And හරියට wheel එකක් වගේ හිතන්නකෝ ඇඟ ඇතුලේ energy wheel එක rotate වෙනවා කිය. හුස්ම ඉහළට ගද්දි Jayashri කියලා හිතන ඉහළට එනවා. ඉහළ ඉඳලා පහළට front line එකේ සිරුර හැදුණු ඒ ශක්ති මධ්‍යස්ථානයට යනවා. නැවතත් හොඳ නාරයට දිග ඉහළට. කීප වතාවක් ඔක කරන්න. All right, now pay attention to your left hand. Today, I intend to clear everyone present here, Pilani, Kamaka, Erandi, Anura, Vajini, Rasanjali, Milani, Piris, Krishanti, and Pavitri. And anyone who is not physically connected here live, but who intend to be part of this energetically, clearing the pattern of victimization, the highest order energetic distortion to be cleared in the name of divine love and the free will of all concerned. Releasing the victimization pattern for the highest good of all. ඔයගලන්ට left palm එකේ දැනෙන්න ඕනේ දැන් energy. ඒක left palm එක ගොඩාක් heavy වෙනවා. දැන් මගේ arm එක totally මම ඇඟිලි පහලට නියොමු කරලා තිබ්බේ, but it is now all the way up, like there's a huge energy clearance. Permanent clearance එකක් වුණාම මම දන්නවා ඒක මම කියන්නම් මේ වෙලාවට. Just breathe deeply and just don't try to perceive anything, okay? Just feel it. So there was a clearance that happened. Victimization collectively, I think on behalf of all Sri Lankans, when we clear our patterns, we are clearing the whole collective consciousness of Sri Lankans. And thereby whole humanity, of course. We are part of humanity. We are one family, right? You can, I think the energy clearance is still happening. So I am not closing the session yet. Let's wait till the energy clearance takes place. Yeah, energy going quantum now. Good. Very good. Wonderful. Take a good deep breath, everyone, into your heart center. I want you to open your eyes. Hope you can see me. Yeah. So you breathe all the way. Imagine you are breathing all the way up. You raise your arms up and bring your palms down like this. Yeah. Float your hands as you breathe in. Yeah, good. And breathe out as you bring your palms along the midline. One more time, breathing in and centering the energy along the midline. Good. We started off with breathing into the stomach as we started. Go back to the stomach. Bring your palms to your stomach. Cover your navel center. Nabi pradesha අද්දකින්ම වහලා හොඳට හුස්ම ගන්න. හොඳට ගන්න හුස්ම into your navel center. All right, wonderful everyone. I think we are done now. We can wrap up the session. Thank you once again, JayaShri everyone.
Thank you.
Always, when you are connected with me, you can say JayaShri because that is good for you. So whoever can unmute, why don't you unmute and greet everyone saying JayaShri. Get used to our code, guys. It's our code. JayaShri, JayaShri, JayaShri.
JayaShri.
Much love and blessings. Stay blessed.
JayaShri, JayaShri, JayaShri.
JayaShri.
හොඳයි. ස්තුතියි හැම දිනාටම.